after manufacturing, they finished the products and they distribute it to the customers. It means they deliver it to the customer, or maybe they prepare for transportation to the customer, and so on. So, of course, similarly to ATO, it is also a combination of both push and pull. For the pull, it's kind of obvious or apparent for you to realize, right? We pull the order here, okay? We pull the order phase even like before the manufacture phase. It means that we wait until we have the order and then we start manufacturing the products. However, there's still like a part of push. Where is the part of push? It is a part of keep the stock of materials and components. It means like maybe you will still purchase the materials, purchase the components, purchase some spare parts or accessories for the products in advance. So in such case, you still predict. Okay. However, you don't have to predict like the demand for the finished product, but you just have like a kind of assumption for like how big or how many products you may possibly need to produce or after receiving the orders, and then you calculate like the amount of components, the amount of materials, and you buy this in advance and keep it in the stock. So that is the pushing part. Okay, so from this you can see like here is the models for this production, right? So for the part like you design the products. The biggest difference here is that like you design the products in advance. Okay, you think about like what model, what design, what templates of products you would like to offer to the customers. Okay, and then from that you calculate the inputs, okay, the expected models and materials, and you purchase in advance, keep the stock of the materials or the component, and then wait. Okay, and then wait here. Wait until you receive the orders of the customer. From that, you take out, okay, you take the materials from the warehouse, from your inventory, and then you start manufacturing. You produce a part of the item, you assemble those parts, and then like you deliver those finished products to the customers. And the manufacturing here is according to the customer orders and distribute to the customers. Okay, I will have an example like this. Okay, for example, like flowers. Okay, maybe you are familiar with this, right? So how is this different from MTS, right? If a flower shop apply like MTS model, it means like make to stock or models. Okay, they will produce until like the last flower banquet. Okay, the last product like this, and then they keep the stock at this form and wait until the customer go to the shop, purchase, and they just bring the flower banquet out. However, if they apply like MTO, most of the flower shop nowadays they apply like MTOs, right? So they will design. Of course, they still think about like some design, some style of flower banquets, and they take the photos of those like design of those banquets. They upload maybe like to the website, or maybe they have some like models, okay, of this keep in the store. And then when the customer come, right, they will say, okay, I would like this design. Okay, make a bankers of flowers in this design for me. And after that is the order. And after receiving that order, they start picking the rose, picking daisy, picking baby, that they keep the stock in advance, and then they make that flowers for the customer. Okay, they keep the stock, they receive the order, like I would like to make this model, and then they start making that model and they give it to the customer. And of course, by applying this production, the customer have to wait, right? They cannot like just go to the flower shop, picking a banquet and go immediately, just a few seconds, but maybe they have to wait like maybe 30 minutes or like 1 hour for like the staff of the shops to make that bankers. And of course, that's the first thing. So the customer have to wait for like the production period. In addition to that, like they can have the power of adjusting the products a bit. Okay, for like of course, like the shop already designed or already set some models of banker before, like they have 4 models like this. Okay, however, when the customer come, maybe they can ask to change. For example, like I would like this model, however, I don't want red rose. I see that you have yellow rose, so I would like to change the red rose into yellow rose. And of course, because the shop hasn't made the finished product yet, so they can easily change, okay, adjust or customize the products in the process of producing the flowers according to the order of the customer. Cô sẽ giải thích ở chỗ này một tí nhé. Cái mô hình thứ ba là mô hình MTO, đúng không ạ? Thì nó sẽ khác một chút, tức là ở đây thì kể cả những cái bộ phận, đúng không, bán thành phẩm ấy, người ta cũng chưa sản xuất trước. Ví dụ như là nếu như là theo cái mô hình ATO, đúng không, thì thông thường họ sẽ sản xuất một số các cái bộ phận, và sau đó khi mà có nhận được cái đơn đặt hàng thì họ lắp ghép các cái bộ phận đấy vào với nhau thôi. Thế còn đối với mô hình MTO ấy, thì cái họ làm trước là cái gì? Cái trước cái điểm OPP, điểm thâm nhập đơn hàng ấy, thì họ sẽ làm cái gì? Họ sẽ có thể thiết kế ra một số các cái mẫu sản phẩm. Sau đó thì họ sẽ tính toán, họ vẫn có một số cái lượng dự báo nhất định, họ xem là có khả năng là bán được bao nhiêu, họ tính toán các cái loại nguyên vật liệu để cần sản xuất theo những cái mẫu mà họ đã thiết kế ra như vậy. Sau đó thì họ sẽ nhập nguyên vật liệu về, đúng chưa? Và nhập nguyên vật liệu về và chờ đến khi có xuất hiện đơn đặt hàng, đúng chưa? Thì lúc đấy là bắt đầu điểm thâm nhập đơn hàng, đúng không? Thì đơn đặt hàng sẽ xuất hiện với gì? Với số lượng này, với mẫu mã, cô xin lỗi, với số lượng này, với thời gian này, đúng không? Với các cái thông số, ví dụ danh mục sản phẩm, mẫu A là bao nhiêu sản phẩm, mẫu B là bao nhiêu sản phẩm, mẫu C bao nhiêu sản phẩm, và sau đó thì nhà sản xuất mới bắt đầu sản xuất theo cái đơn đặt hàng đó. Tuy nhiên là các bạn thấy cái điểm thâm nhập đơn đặt hàng nó kéo rất là xa, đúng không? Nó vào nó tiến rất là sâu vào trong cái quá trình sản xuất, nó tiến đến trước cả khi mà cái bước sản xuất xuất hiện ra. Cho nên cái điểm thâm nhập đơn đặt hàng, ngoài về thông số về số lượng này, địa điểm này, rồi thời gian vân vân, thì có thể có những một số các cái thông tin khác liên quan đến hàng hóa mà có thể thâm nhập được vào trong cái quá trình sản xuất. Ví dụ như là một số các điều chỉnh, một cái số các tùy chỉnh customization. Tất nhiên là khách hàng ở đây họ sẽ không phải là đặt một thứ mới tệ toanh, mà họ vẫn phải đặt theo cái mẫu mã mà doanh nghiệp đã thiết kế ra. Tuy nhiên là họ sẽ có thể yêu cầu một số các cái điều chỉnh theo cái ý tưởng của họ, và cái mức độ điều chỉnh sẽ cao hơn cả so với cái mô hình ATO, bởi vì lúc này nó mới ở dạng là nguyên vật liệu thôi, cho nên cái sự tác động, sự điều chỉnh cái nguyên vật liệu theo cái ý muốn của khách hàng nó sẽ dễ dàng hơn so với việc tác động những cái điều chỉnh vào các cái bán thành phẩm. Đúng chưa? Vậy thì ví dụ như cô lấy ở đây là một cái cửa hàng hoa, đúng không? Nếu họ áp dụng cái mô hình MTO thì họ sẽ làm như thế nào? Tức là ví dụ cửa hàng đấy họ sẽ thiết kế ra một số các mẫu, đúng không? Ví dụ như ở đây là họ thiết kế ra 4 cái mẫu bó hoa, đúng chưa? Và họ sẽ quảng cáo bằng việc là họ up cái hình đấy lên trên mạng này, hoặc là họ có sẵn 4 cái mẫu hoa sẵn ở cửa hàng để mà trưng bày. Thì khi khách hàng đến thì rõ ràng không thể mua bó hoa đấy và cầm đi luôn, đúng không? Mà họ sẽ có thể đặt, họ sẽ bảo là tôi muốn đặt cái bó hoa theo cái mẫu số 1 này, làm theo cái mẫu số 1 này cho tôi. Thì lúc đấy cái quy trình bắt đầu diễn ra là họ lấy những cái bông hoa đã được nhập trước, đúng không ạ? Từ 4 cái mẫu này thì tôi đã mua hoa, tôi mua từ chợ hoa, chợ quảng bá gì đấy vân vân, đúng không? Họ nhập trước, họ để sẵn ở đây rồi. Thì khi mà khách hàng đến bảo là tôi muốn mua bó hoa số 1, đặt một bó, đúng chưa? Thì người khách hàng, người cửa hàng mới bắt đầu là nhặt các cái hoa, đúng không? Bông hoa hồng, bông hoa ly vân vân, họ bó vào thành bó và họ đưa cho khách hàng. Thì rõ ràng khách hàng phải đứng đợi, đúng không? Chứ không phải đến mua xong rồi cầm đi luôn, mà sẽ phải đợi khoảng độ nửa tiếng hoặc là 45 phút tùy vào cái kỹ năng của cái người bó hoa, đúng không? Và tùy vào cái sự đông hay là sự vắng khách của cửa hàng đó. Thế thì cái sự tùy chỉnh nó sẽ thể diễn ra, ví dụ như tôi đặt bó số 1 nhưng mà tôi nhưng mà hôm nay tôi không muốn dùng cái hoa hồng đỏ, thay cho tôi thì là hoa hồng vàng, đúng chưa? Thì hoàn toàn là cửa hàng có thể dễ dàng điều chỉnh được, bởi vì đã chưa bó vào, chưa cắm cái gì vào cả, đúng không? Thì họ hoàn toàn có thể là họ sẽ chọn lấy hồng vàng, miễn là sẽ có cái lượng hồng vàng sẵn ở đó, đúng không? Và họ sẽ lấy từ trong cửa hàng ra và họ bó thành một bó hoa, vẫn theo mẫu số 1, vẫn tương đây, nhưng mà chỉ thay những cái bông màu đỏ này thành màu vàng đó. Thì đấy là để các bạn hình dung sự gọi là mức độ tùy chỉnh và cái mô hình này nó sẽ diễn ra như thế nào. Thế thì ở đây an example, in addition to the example of flowers shop, another example which happened in the real life where they apply the MTO model. This is a Rolls Royce. Okay, you know about that brand name, right? This is a brand name of luxury cars, right? And if I remember correctly, like on last Fridays, on last Tuesday, right? There was one student, sorry, like just a boy in the class, but I couldn't remember the name, mentioned that like in the car production, right? So with the like high level customization, we may have the chance of like having a unique products. So for Rolls Royce, because their product is a luxury item, so they also want to raise the level of customization in their production and offering to the customers. So what do they do? Like for models, okay, of course, like for this kind of both shape cars, okay, so they can offer the client design to the program. However, like they still have the design in advance. It means that like they have the standard design of this car model first, okay, and when the customer come and said that like, okay, I would like to order this model, these versions of Rolls Royce, okay, they start producing it, and because they after receiving the model, they start producing. Therefore, like the customer may make some change to the product. For example, like a customer would like to like add an umbrella to the tail of the cars like this, or like a customer would like to adjust by the door, okay, the main doors of the car like this. So according to some like requirement, they will adjust the model. It's still like the standard models of the company. However, they just adjust some like part or maybe some details in that model according to the requirement of the customer. So in such case, this is also like the applications of MTO production models. Yes. So now I would like to ask, okay, from that, please think about what are the advantage and disadvantage of this model. Okay, so what are the advantages and disadvantages of the MTO production model? Okay, I repeat the questions like what are the pros, benefits, okay, the upsides of the MTO models, and what are like the downsides or the disadvantages of the MTO model? Okay, Anh Hạnh say like faster delivery. Faster delivery, is it like upside or downside, Anh Hạnh?
The upsides, the benefits. When you keep stocking when you keep stock on something, you don't have to let's see.
Okay, thank you, anh Khánh. However, actually, Khánh, in terms of delivery, it's not faster. When we compare delivery, the delivery of like MTO with the delivery of ATO of MTS, actually the delivery is slower. Okay, or we don't say delivery, but we say like the lead time or the response time is longer because the customer have to wait longer. They wait like you producing it, you assemble it, you deliver it to the client. Okay. Trong trường hợp của việc giao hàng thì ở đây chỗ này của anh Khánh chưa được chuẩn lắm nhá. Đúng là cái ý giao hàng là ý chúng ta cần nói, nhưng nó lại không faster, nó sẽ lâu hơn. Nó sẽ lâu hơn so với hai cái mô hình mà chúng ta đã học trước đấy là mô hình MTS và mô hình ATO, bởi vì khách hàng phải chờ từ lúc mà chúng ta từ cái nguyên vật liệu thô này, chúng ta chế biến này, chúng ta cắt xử lý vân vân, chúng ta ghép nó vào nó sẽ thành sản phẩm cuối cùng. Cho nên thời gian chờ đợi để được đáp ứng một cái đơn đặt hàng đối với khách hàng ấy, nó sẽ lâu hơn. Like Quang Thành is saying here, like longer time in making the products, right? Exactly. So in terms of time, actually, if we compare with ATO with MTS, it is longer, right? Exactly. Nó sẽ là lâu hơn nhé, về mặt thời gian nếu so với hai mô hình trước thì nó sẽ lâu hơn. However, we say, okay, Hoàng Giang mentioned a storage cost. Thu mentions about reduce keep stocks in the warehouse. I guess Hoàng Giang and Thu Phương, I'm sorry, Hoàng Giang and Thu Phương share the same opinion here, right? So yes, of course, like in terms of inventory, we can lower the level of inventory because we just keep the inventory of material. We don't keep the inventory of spare parts. We don't keep the inventory of like finished products first thing. So like lower level of inventory also means a lower level of cost you have to spend on inventory. In addition to that, like the inventory can be more accurate, more precise. The reason why I say more precise doesn't mean like you predict more correct, but because they keep in the form of material, so it's more flexible to be transformed according to the wish of the customers. Okay, and for that reason, like even though like maybe you keep a large number, but you can easily like adjust it if like the customer change their demand. For example, you keep in terms of fabric, right? Maybe like you keep like white fabric. However, the customer come and they would like the products in the like color red, right? So you don't just throw that white fabric, but you just dye, okay, the fabric, change the color from white to red, and then you can easily still make use of the inventory. Việc thứ hai là chúng ta giảm được chi phí của dự trữ ấy, thì không phải dự trữ bán thành phẩm này, không phải dự trữ thành phẩm này là việc đầu tiên, chúng ta sẽ giảm được cái mức độ dự trữ. Việc thứ hai là vì chúng ta dự trữ ở dạng nguyên vật liệu cho nó sẽ linh hoạt hơn, được chưa? Cho nên cái xác suất mà giữa dự trữ sai lệch với nhu cầu ấy nó sẽ được giảm xuống. Không phải vì chúng ta dự báo nhu cầu tốt hơn, mà bởi vì là chúng ta có thể biến đổi được cái dự trữ đấy. Ví dụ như là cô vừa nói vải đỏ và vải trắng, đúng không ạ? Chúng ta dự trữ ở dạng vải trắng. Tuy nhiên là cái nhu cầu mà sản phẩm áo trắng nó lại không cao như chúng ta mong đợi, người ta lại muốn áo đỏ cơ, thì hoàn toàn chúng ta vẫn có thể thêm một số các công đoạn là ví dụ nhuộm cho cái vải trắng đấy, đổi nó từ vải trắng thành vải đỏ, thì chúng ta vẫn có thể sử dụng cái vải trắng đấy thay vì là vứt đi bị dư thừa, đúng chưa, trong dự trữ. And of course I see like yes, one second. And Ngọc Đại also say like customization. The customer offer great variety of product, right? Exactly. That is a very nice point. Like higher level of customization, right? Allow the customer, like the order penetration point, move deeper into like the process of production, right? Therefore, you can take more detail. They can take more like wish or demand customer and add that change, like the examples of Rolls Royce, right? Like even like some very weird, some very strange wish of the customer, like have an umbrella at the back of the car, they still can be able to like meet that need, to fulfill that need. So yes, as Hoa also mentioned here, hello Hoa, right? You were late for the class, right? Okay, so as also like Hoa said here, like the product can be customizable, can be customized, right? So that is some like that are some pros and cons, right? Higher level customization, low level inventory. However, yes, in terms of time, yeah, and please remember that part. Like in terms of time, it's longer. Of course, it's not like totally bad, but if we compare it, okay, we put it in a comparison with MTS and ATO is longer. So we need to consider with our customer, they are willing to wait or not. Okay, most of like buying car, right? But if a customer buying like a standard car, for example, like me, I just want to buy a car for transporting, okay, for going from one place to one place. So I'm not wishing to wait so long. Okay, I can wait, but maybe just like 1 month is possible for me because I need that car to go to my hometown, to go traveling and so on. Okay, so yeah, of course that 1 month is possible. However, if I have to wait like a year, okay, for the car, maybe I cannot, because in that year I have many plans for traveling, so I cannot wait like up to 1 year. Yeah, so like car, but just for like basic or normal brand like Toyota, Honda, right? Their customer ask people like me, so they are not willing to wait for so long. So like MTO model like this, maybe not applicable for them. They think about like maybe ATO, the customers still have to wait, but they shorten the period of waiting. However, for the customer of Rolls-Royce, right, they buying car not for traveling, not for going, but they buying car for showing off, right? They buying car for representing for their social status in the society, right? They buying car to show people how rich they are. So yes, of course, so they have higher demand of an unique car like no one else has in the world. They have the car like have the signature of themselves on that product. So in such case, yes, they are willing to wait, okay, 1 month or 1 year, no matter 2 years, no matter, I can wait as long as I have that like so special car to show people like how rich I am, okay, as an item of a collection in my in my house. Okay, so yes, the time here for the company to consider about like the willingness of waiting of their customer. And in addition to that, like flexibility, okay, this is like higher level customization, variety of product is a good thing. At the same time, it also comes to the bad thing, okay, because like when the flexibility is too high, I mean like you accept a variety of wishes from the customer, so workload is become like more intense, okay, become like more stressful. For example, like the case of the flower shop I just told you, right? So the customer come and they have the wish, okay, I don't want red rose, I want yellow rose. If like your shop already stock the yellow rose in your store, okay, it's good, you just like pick the rose and then like make the banquet, right? However, in case, for example, now they say no, I don't want red rose, I want black rose, and that is something is not ready in your shop, right? You don't stock black rose, and now like more workload is needed. Like your staff have to look on the internet, contact all the all the supplier to ask if they have black rose or not, to ask if like they have the black rose in stock, and like whether they can buy some black rose from the supplier immediately or not, and then like you have to arrange some resources, for example, like a person, a staff, right, riding car or ride motorbike, quickly go to the supplier, pick the black rose, go back to the shop, and then make the bankers, right? So from that example, you can see like the workload is more demanding, and it may change suddenly from one order to the other one. And in such case, it really like if a company or if a business would like to apply the MTO model, it requires them to have like the resources can be flexible and can be like competent enough to fulfill all the different demand of the customer. So moving, yes. So, and for that reason, like we need to consider, okay, only the product a small order size. Okay, I mean, for example, like the car Rolls Royce like that. So just like one customer go with like the wish of having the umbrella, okay, and of course like the demand for order that model cars at a time is not very high. For example, like in a year, okay, totally so far for that model I showed you in the previous slide, they just have like the order of only like 40 or 50 orders total in the world. So like the demand, the size of the demand for that product is not so high. So it allows them to may have enough resources and have enough time to adjust the product according to each model. Now imagine like if the order, the size of order for that product is not 50 anymore, but like 50,000. Okay, so it's impossible for them to make a change of every single 50,000 products to offer to the customer. So moving to the, yes, as I show you on the screen, okay, we have like two products which also have the high demand of product variant, which is like Hermes bag, right? So of course, like this is MTO, not like design according to the customer. Why I say so? Because Hermes already have that design, okay, the shape of the bag, okay, the like the basic form, the fundamental forms of the bags, they already have that, and they even have some like standard versions of the bags, okay, some standard color and basic color of the bags. However, they still take in some requirement wish of the customer if they want to change the material to make the bags, the color for the bags, some like change in terms of detail, in terms of like the key, the lock change for the product, so on and so forth. So in such case, a match bags production is also like in case of MTO. Or for the wedding ring as well, okay, of course, like it can vary. For some people who want very luxury and they are willing to pay a lot of money for the wedding ring, they may have a total new design. But for the most like common, okay, like a normal couple, how they buy the ring, they will go to some like jewelry store, right? And they look at some like model, okay, already designed in the shop, and then they will pick up one. However, they can make some change, for example, in terms of the size of the ring, or maybe in terms of the amount of gold in the ring. For example, some couple they would like to have higher amount of gold, okay, thicker ring, or maybe they can make the change of the number of amount of diamond, okay, maybe not only one diamond, but maybe 2 diamonds, 3 diamonds on the ring, and maybe they have the wish like some letter or some number should be carved in the inner circle, right? For example, the wedding day of the couples to be carved in the inner. However, the form or the size, the form or the design of the rings, normally they follow the design which already has in the shop, if they don't want to pay more money for the wedding ring. So that's the next model, which calls ETO, standing for engineer to order. So this is like the model having the highest level of customization. Why do I say so? Because the customer now, okay, the order penetration, okay, the order now can penetrate up to like the level of design or producing. Okay, for the MTO, the company still design, but they still set the template for the products. However, for ETO, if they apply ETO, the customer even like they are involved in, okay, they participate in the designing phase as well. So everything starts from orders. Okay, the company mostly they do nothing in advance. Of course, it's a perfect situation, right? Of course, they still need to do something because it's a business. However, the basic process is that the company receives the orders. And then from the orders, from the ideas, from the requirement from the customers, they start designing products according to the order. And then they manufacture, they produce the products according to the design that they create and the customer agree with the design. And then after manufacturing, after having the finished product, they start distributing the product. It means they deliver, sending the products to the customer. Okay, so for this model, it's like 100% of pull models. Okay, totally pull. They wait until the orders and then they start doing everything from the beginning steps. Okay, so here you see, yes, even like the design, also sourcing, the customer may penetrate in. Okay, of course they cannot design. They rarely can design the supplier. Okay, still the company who do the part of purchasing, which is in chapter 1, we just finished studying. Okay, so looking for the supplier, sets the supplier, select the supplier, are still the job of the company. However, like those like sourcings can be changed according to the customer in the way that maybe they come up with a design that require a very special material. So you have to look for a new supplier that is able to offer that kind of materials and so on. Okay, so when we receive the order, you start like purchase the material according to the order and then start doing everything like this. So here's an example. Okay. Some example. This first of all, like in construction industry, this is a very popular model for the construction industry. For example, like I show here is the Eiffel Tower, right? So of course, like the customer, who is the customer here? Paris Authority, right? Paris Authority is the customer in this case. So Paris Authority go to like the architecture, go to a company, go to the construction company, say that they have the wish of like having a structure of a tower in the center of Paris like this. It should be high, it should be visible to everyone, it should be in like a very catchy color, so on and so forth. So they give all the requirement. And then the architecture, okay, from that requirement, they start drawing, and then they negotiate, discuss with the customer, who is the authority here, right? And come up with like a design, a plan that both of them agree. Okay? When they finalize the design, the constructor start looking for the materials, that purchase the material and start making the Eiffel Tower. A more familiar examples to you guys is when we build our house, right? When we build our house, it is totally ETO. Of course, like if we go to buy a ready-made apartment or we buy a ready-made house, we not mention that. But for many Vietnamese family now, like you have a land, and then after that, like you start building the house from the land that you own, right? So in such case, it is also like ETO production. Okay, you have the wish of like my house will have like 3 floors, and it should be like have 5 rooms, so on and so forth. So you give all criteria, and then the process start. After you finalize the architectural design, the company, they go to purchase the material to build the house. And of course, very long time of waiting, right, for building the house. Even though we have some technological advance nowadays, the process of building the house, of getting the house finished, maybe up to from 6 months up to 1 year, right? And in some other case, some more familiar commodities to you guys is wedding dress, right? Of course, like there's a part of bride, they will rent, okay, they will rent the wedding dress, they do not purchase. But for some bride who is super rich, right, for example, like celebrity, maybe you follow the news and you know some celebrities, some like rich kids or like billionaire, millionaire, and so on, right? They would like to have a dress on their own, their own dress, right? So in such case, they would go to some well-known designer, right? Tell them how they would like their dress to be, and then like from that they start sketching the wedding dress, and after that like they start making the dress. So in order to have that dress, the prepare process could be like up to a year for like a dress, or even like the quickest could be like a few months, right? So therefore, like this model is normally popular from B2B market. What is B2B market? It means like the customer is a business, an organization. Okay, like the case of like Eiffel Tower, this is B2B market because like the customer is Paris Authority, an organization. Okay, they decide this for the use of someone else, or maybe like you selling the materials for another company, and the company use material to produce a finished product. So it's a B2B market. So ETO model is normally like familiar or popular in the B2B market, and of course like for luxury products in B2C market, as I mentioned with the luxury wedding dress. Okay, so here's the for this, why don't I ask you about pros and cons, since it's quite obvious, right? The biggest cost is like highest level of customization, right? And the lowest and the biggest disadvantage is the long waiting time, and it's only applicable for a very limited products and industry. So it's quite obvious, and it just can be applicable in some certain situation, and that is the reason why I don't ask you about like pros and cons here. So all in all, like we have studied for basic production models. For most common production models, MTO, ATO, MTS, ATO, MTO, and ETO. So of course, like maybe in the future you will you would hear about some different models like BTO, okay, or CTO, and so on. So the fundamentals, okay, the key content are more or less same like the key contents of these 4 models. So for MTS, you serve the customer with finished products inventory, standardized product. Nothing can be changed, no change can be made for the products. Okay, you keep stocks in advance before having the order. For the ATO, right, you can like make some module, okay, some part of the product, like a pizza. You make the toppings, you make the base, you make the vegetables, so everything, and then after receiving the order, you start like combine, okay, assemble it to meet the customer specification. Okay, for MTO, like we keep the stock of raw materials, okay, and then when the customer come with the order, you start like produce the parts start producing the components. For ETO, okay, maybe like you will work with the customer to design and then start making the products. So that is like all 4 ideas about like production models. And now we'll have like 5 minutes. Yes, we will have 5 minutes break, and after that we will